Today we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. I took the backrest out of the vacuum press and I put it in this form with some clamps on it. That's just to kind of keep everything together. And we'll come back to this later when we're ready to install it. And we've got our seats. Now the glue's all dried, so we can take our clamps off and run these through the thickness planer. So that's going to be the first step. We're going to get our seats planed and square. Then we're going to go over to the drill press. On the drill press, we're going to drill some tapered holes in here for our legs and our backrests. After that, we'll take our legs and backrests. We're going to plane them a little bit, and then we'll bring them on over to the lathe. We're going to cut some tapered tenons on them, and then we will do a few other things, and we'll be ready to put it together. Let's do it. Now that my seat's all squared up, I'm going to do something that's cool, or I think it's cool anyway. I'm going to drill some special tapered holes in it. So I'm laying out the location of the holes with the template that we have for our seat. Once I get these holes laid out, I'll go over to the drill press and use a special jig. So this is the jig that we created to use on our drill press. This jig allows us to set the table of the drill press at a compound angle, at two different angles. Here I have some blocks that tilt up the top of the table at 18 degrees. And then I can also tilt the table side to side at another set of degrees. If you look at the table carefully, you'll see it's actually set at two different angles. Then I can go in and drill our seat so that the holes end up at a compound angle. This is really important when we're making a chair because we want the legs to splay out both different directions. This is a special tapered cutter. This creates a hole that comes down kind of like if you were taking an ice cream cone and sticking it into the wood. It's a tapered hole. So once I get these holes cut out, then I'm going to trace the curved part of our seat and the sides, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to cut these out on a 10-degree angle on the bandsaw. After cutting a 10-degree angle on the bandsaw, I'm going to use the joiner and also the belt sander to touch up those cuts. I don't know if you guys caught what happened here, but that was a really good example of what not to do when using the belt sander. So when you're using the belt sander, the belt's always moving really fast in this direction. Always moving like this really quickly. So you want to try to move the piece of wood. If you're going to move it at all, you want to move it in that direction, or you want to try to keep it braced in one place. Well, I was in a hurry and I wasn't paying attention, and I ran it through this way, and then I ran it back this direction a little bit. It caught the back edge of the seat and it threw it. My hand also ran into the dust box we have on in there, and it didn't feel very good. I'm fine. I'm not hurt at all, but that was a really good example, like I said, of what not to do.
So let's learn from that and not do that again. All right.
Now that our seat's all cut out and the holes are drilled, we can work on the legs. For our legs, we're actually going to taper the wood at 2 shallow angles. You can see I'm cutting both angles here on the bandsaw. I'm staying a little bit away from the line so I can come back and tune them up either with a hand plane, or in this case, I'm using the joiner just because I'm a little bit lazy and I want to get it done quicker. Now that the wood is tapered, the fun begins. I put the leg on the lathes, and I'm going to use the lathes to rough out a tapered tenon. This tenon will fit inside the tapered hole that we made with the special bit on the drill press. Our last step for today is to make a notch in the back of the pieces that we'll be using for the backrest of our chair. I'm going to use the bandsaw to do this.
Well, after a lot of hard work, we have our seats all drilled out and cut out with a nice 10-degree bevel going around the edges. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll shape the bottom of the seat so it's nice to sit in. And we have our legs all tapered and then also cut out with a nice tenon on the end. It's going to fit inside the holes that we made here, like that. Tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off here and we'll put the chair together. See you guys then.